Good morning, students. In our last class, we have discussed about cell structure and functions. In that class, we have learned about cell, the structural and functional unit of organism, and different shapes of cells. Now, today let us learn some more about cell. Okay, can you guess which part of the cell gives its shape? Look here, this is the cell. The components of cell are enclosed in a membrane. Here are the components. These are all cell organelles which are enclosed in a membrane. So look here, this is the membrane which is drawn with a pencil. This is the membrane which encloses all the organelles and different components of a cell. This membrane is nothing but cell membrane, which provides shape to the cell in both plants and animals. Here in plants, there is an extra layer. Look here, a layer which is drawn with a pen. There is an extra layer around the cell membrane which is called cell wall. So cell wall, presence of cell wall is the characteristic feature of plants. But one exception is there. Bacterial cell come under animals actually, but this bacterial cell also has a cell wall. Next, size of cell. Actually, the cells which we can't see with our naked eye because the cells are very small, which can be observed under a microscope. Such as small cells. That means here the cells are as small as millionth of a meter. Millionth of a meter means millionth part in a meter. That means very small. So that is called a micrometers or microns. Millionth part of a meter means micrometer or microns. Or maybe as large as few centimeters. See, in the yesterday's class, we have already learned about an egg of a hen, which is somewhat a few centimeters in length. So here, most of the cells are microscopic in size, which are not able to see with our naked eye. It should be observed under a microscope. The smallest cell is bacterial cell, which is 0.1 to 0.5 micrometers. This is called μm, which we can pronounce as μm, micrometers. So which is the smallest cell, that is 0.1 to 0.5 micrometers. And the largest cell is 170 mm into 130 mm egg of an ostrich. So 170 mm in the sense nearly 17 centimeters long and 13 centimeters width. So that is the size of an ostrich egg. See, you can see here ostrich egg. See how big it is. Size of the cell is related to its function. That means here, for example, nerve cells are there. Nerve cells are actually they are long cells because they has to transfer messages from brain to different parts of the body and from different parts to the brain. That's why they are longer, nearly 90 to 100 centimeters long. Both in larger animals and also in smaller animals. Like suppose elephant is there and rat. Both in rat and elephant also, even though rat is small but elephant is large, even though the nerve cells are long in both the animals. Cell structure and functions. Here every living organism has many organs and organ systems to perform specific functions. For example, in animals, We have digestive system, excretory system, nervous system, reproductive system, respiratory system. Like that, many systems are there. For example, digestive system is meant for digestion of food material, and excretory system to send out the waste materials from our body. In the same way, nervous system to transfer messages from brain to organs and vice versa. In plants also, different organs meant for different purpose. For example, roots to anchor the plant and also the absorption of water and minerals. And leaves meant for performing photosynthesis and to prepare food. Each organ is further made up of smaller parts called tissues, and each tissue is nothing but a group of cells perform a specific function. That means here group of cells to form tissues and group of tissues form organ and group of organs form organ system and group of organ systems to form organism. So this is the order. Thus the cell is the basic structural and functional unit of living organism. Means every living organism ultimately made up of cells. So every living organism is ultimately made up of cell. Now let us see parts of cells. Parts of cell. We have already learned about cell membrane. Cell membrane is the outermost layer which gives shape to the cell. The cell membrane is also called as plasma membrane. Cell membrane is also called as plasma membrane. This plasma membrane or cell membrane is porous. Porous in the sense having holes. Porous means having small holes. Porous, which allows movement of substances both inward and outward. Which allows substances both inward and outward. But one thing we have to keep in mind, this cell membrane is selectively permeable. This plasma membrane or cell membrane is selectively permeable. Selectively permeable in the sense, it allows only the selected material. It doesn't allow all the materials to pass through it. It allows only the selected materials. That's why it is called a selectively permeable membrane. And inside the cell, a fluid filled material is there, which is called a cytoplasm. And inside the cytoplasm, a round, dense, compact structure we can see, that is a nucleus. So cytoplasm and nucleus are enclosed within the cell membrane. Enclosed in the cell membrane. Here we can see human cheek cells and onion peel cells. Onion peel cells. See here in onion peel cells you can see the cell wall, nucleus and cytoplasm. You can see very clearly. See, we have already learned that around the cell membrane there is an extra layer which is called cell wall, which is present only in plants. So why plants need cell wall? You may get this doubt, because cell membrane is already there now, so which is enough to give protection. But why the plants are having this cell wall extra layer? Why? Because actually animals can move from one place to another, but the plants cannot move from one place to another. They are called stationary organisms. They can't move from one place to another. So they need extra protection. This cell wall gives protection against variations in high temperature, high wind speed and atmospheric moisture. Whereas suppose if it is animals, we can move from one place to another, so we can escape from the high temperatures, low temperatures, and wind speed, moisture. These things we can escape from them, but the plants cannot do so. That's why they need extra protection. For that, they have cell wall. See, you can observe human cheek cells here. Human cheek cells are having a nucleus in the center, cytoplasm, and cell membrane, whereas cell wall is absent in human cheek cells. Next, cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the fluid-filled or jelly-like substance present inside the cell, and this cytoplasm is provided with many cell organelles like mitochondria, Golgi complex, ribosomes, vacuoles, etc. So cytoplasm is nothing but the fluid-filled substance. Next, nucleus. This is the important part of a cell. Here is the nucleus. This nucleus is a round, dense, compact one which is present both in plant cells and animal cells. See, if we observe a plant cell, it is more or less located at the corners of the cell, whereas in animal cells it is located somewhat in the center of the cell. And in nucleus, you can see a membrane around the nucleus which is called nuclear membrane. Just like a cell is provided with the cell membrane, in the same way nucleus is provided with nuclear membrane. And inside the nucleus you can see a round spot which is called nucleolus. In addition to this nucleolus, you can see some thread-like structures inside the nucleus. These are chromosomes. These thread-like structures are nothing but chromosomes. These chromosomes we can see very clearly during cell division. That means cell division is nothing but a formation of new cells. Cell division is for the formation of new cells. So during that cell division, the chromosomes are very clear. And on the chromosomes we can see here some beads like arrangement you can see. These are called genes. These are called genes. So these genes are called hereditary vehicles. Genes are called hereditary vehicles. Why? Because these genes carry characters from parents to offsprings. That's why these genes are called hereditary vehicles, and also called these are unit of inheritance. In living organisms, genes are called unit of inheritance. See, now nucleus not only plays a major role in inheritance, but also it acts like a control room. It acts like a control room for all the activities of the cell. Okay. See, depending upon the presence of nuclear membrane, the cells are of two types: prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. Prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. Cells having nuclear material without nuclear membrane. That means cells having nuclear material but no nuclear membrane. No nuclear membrane. Those are called prokaryotic cells. Pro means primitive, karyon means nucleus. Pro means primitive, karyon means nucleus. Means this is a primitive cell or primitive cell having nuclear material without any nuclear membrane. And next, eukaryotic cell means it is a well developed, well organized nucleus with a nuclear membrane. So here you can see clearly a nuclear membrane around the nucleus. Nucleolus and chromosomes will be there. So U means true, karyon means nucleus. So here we can see a true nucleus. That's why these are called eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cell example bacteria and blue-green algae. Whereas eukaryotic cells example plant cells and animal cells. Plant cells example onion cell. Animal cells example chick cell. Next, now let us see the comparison of plant cell and animal cell. Here is the diagram. This is the plant cell and here is the animal cell. Now let us see the similarities first. Here in plant cell and animal cell, in both the cells, cell membrane is present, and in plant cell around the cell membrane there is an extra layer which is called cell wall. And here the vacuoles are somewhat larger in plant cell whereas smaller in animal cell. And in both the cells nucleus is present. The nucleus is somewhat at the corners in the plant cell and it is located more or less at the center. Cytoplasm. In both the cells cytoplasm is present and inside the cytoplasm cell organelles like mitochondria, Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum. See, you can learn about all these cell organelles in your next classes. Okay. So one more important feature in plants is the presence of chloroplast. Chloroplast is a green colored plastid which contains a pigment called chlorophyll, which contain a green color pigment called chlorophyll, which is essential for photosynthesis. Whereas these chloroplasts are absent in animals, that's why we can't prepare our own food material. Whereas the plants can prepare their own food material due to the presence of chloroplast. So this is about the differences between plant cells and animal cells. If you have any doubts, you can message me through comment section. Thank you.